None of them are pies. Hello, everybody.
Everything's a pie.
Okay.
If you try hard enough,
First of all, I'm Tom Vassell.
If it's round, it's a pie. I'm Wendy Yee.
I'm Chris Yee.
Today is Pie Day, and I'm very irritated right now because I forgot.
And pizzas are pie.
And I'm eating salads mostly today because I'm trying to recover from Dice Tower West.
No pizza for you. That's why you don't want it to
Pizza's
be a
not
pie.
a pie. Pizza does not count for Pie Day. You can have pot pie and sweet pies. That's your choice.
Popeye
Pizza counts.
Popeye's a pie.
Popeye counts. I was thinking.
Not Popeye.
Popeyes?
Popeye's chicken.
Yes, get some nice fried chicken for pie day.
Actually, my wife makes spaghetti pie, which is really quite delicious.
Spaghetti pie.
Yes.
Sounds like carbs on carbs.
Which is the right way
with
to
a
eat
little
carbs.
bit of sauce.
Anyway,
That's the thing I don't understand.
Happy
I don't
Pie
understand
Day.
bread with spaghetti and all the.
We're off to
many
a great
carbs.
start.
Welcome to Board Game Breakfast. Hey, so we have a pie for a prize. No, we do not.
Sadly.
Our prize today is a copy of Extraordinary Adventures Pirates.
Pirates.
Oh, my word.
Oh wow, that happened.
All right, this is available. Anyone can enter this contest around the world, with the exception of Middle East or South America, due to rights and things. But Pirates, this is a deck building game. It's also a race game. There's 3 different tracks you're racing down. It's very light, very easy to get into. You you're building your deck and then trying to rush down these different tracks, score points. Lots of fun. To win a copy of this, you need to answer the question, how many tracks are there in Extraordinary Adventures Pirates?
Yeah.
How many pies are there in Extraordinary Adventures
How does
Pirates?
this keep
That's the real
happening, Mike?
question.
Just email us at contest@dicetower.com and for the subject line, put the word plunder. Well, I guess people should listen to the show when I'm...
There you go. You get an advantage if you are listening. Active listening.
I think we're now 4 hours different than we were when we were in Las Vegas last week, but I think we've caught up.
I think so.
Yeah?
I hate the time change.
I don't know. I woke up this morning and I was like, it's not light enough outside. I'm going back to bed.
That
Yeah,
I
I did.
get, but I do like that it's light at night now.
I agree.
If
I
they
agree.
just left it like this all year round, it would be good.
If we were always saving daylight would be saved.
Let's just collectively decide that no matter who's in charge, we just stick with this time.
That would cause such chaos because there are a lot of people would not.
If enough people do it, though...
You want a time rebellion.
Yes, time rebellion.
Ooh.
That's a new-
Extraordinary Adventures,
Ultimate.
Time Pirates.
It's a movie coming to theaters near you, but it's really boring. It's about a bunch of people going, it's 8 o'clock. No, it's 9.
Would
All
you
right.
get more people coming in late to work, like the fall version or the spring version? Like, when could you get more people on your side? Letting them sleep in one time? Or get up early?
Oh, people like the sleeping in one, but
They
Yeah.
do, but then they're late to work.
I'm
Versus you get to work early.
See, I think the whole thing would be changed if they just made it so that when you slept in late, that also made the time better. So, like, this is the better
Oh,
time
I
that we're
see.
in now, but we lost an hour, so people are grumpy. When we do it the other way, people get an extra hour of sleep, but then it's the worst time, so people are grumpy.
So we should skip one daylight savings time in the fall so that the next spring it could be nice, and then we just keep it?
You may not know, but this is a podcast, a show about board games. We're talking about Dice Tower East. We are going to sell out of Dice Tower East at the rate we are selling tickets. So if you want to come, go to dicetowereast.com. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be fun. A couple things we want to make notice of. We need volunteers to make it run well. We have lots of cool things to give our volunteers. You get your badge reimbursed and more. Please email me at, just email me at tom@dicetower.com, and I'll get you on the volunteer list. Also, if you want to get merchandise, we can't afford to make tons of merchandise, especially T-shirts. So if you want to get that stuff, you need to pre-order it before you go to Dice Tower East. And there's only a few hotel rooms left in the block that we have there. So don't delay. Dice Tower East, coming to Caribe Royale in Orlando, July 6th to the 10th. I got it right. Let's move
Nice.
on
Well done.
to some contributors. Here we go.
Prepare the time rebel.
Hi, it's Taryn.
And Stella here from Maple University. Now, today we are going to talk about 2 similar but different games. And this is Flip the Dice game, which came out first, then Three Sisters.
Yes. Both roll and write games play in a very similar way with a dice draft, a whole series of upgrades that you can chase for, that you can cross out boxes for, and those things escalate as the game goes on.
It's the same designers but different company, and Flip the Dice game has been our favorite. So when Three Sisters, popped up, like definitely have to have it. The question is, which one is our favorite? On count of three. 3 point. 3, 2, 1. Okay.
I did slightly
yeah.
prefer that one, yes.
I mean, we like both, but we probably slightly like that one. I think it fixes some of the things that I wouldn't say there's a fault in the previous one, but it feels.
I found the upkeep easier here. Roll and write games with a lot of upkeep, I find a little frustrating, because I think that upkeep is one of the things that should come out when you turn something into a roll and write.
That's fair. So, question is, would you keep both games? It's kind of like similar game but different, or do you just, do you keep this one or this one, whatever it is that you like, and get rid of the other one?
With a quick quelling roll and write, I do feel that both games have equal place in a collection.
For us anyway. So let us know what you think, and thanks for watching.
Hey there everyone, it's Jen the Board Game Librarian and Aslan the Ginger Jerk, just slightly off frame with our segment from the page to the table where books and board games are paired together and lots of awesome things happen. Today we're going to talk about Silas Marner by George Eliot, or Marianne Evans as we should really be calling it. We have an England in the turn of the 19th century where a very bucolic England is about to be overrun with industry, mills, and lots of change. Our main character, Silas Marner, is somewhat representative of old England, where he spends a lot of time weaving and at his loom, but his life is very deeply changed by a young child that comes into his life. So what else happens in the beginning of early England is Anno 1800. This new game from Cosmos, 2 to 4 players, ages 12 and up, 120 minutes. Where here we really see the power of industry, mills, and a new England really emerge. This is Martin Wallace's newest game, and one of his newest games, and very, very enjoyable. Played it at 2 players, and after a round and a half where my brain kind of didn't understand what we were doing, we are essentially trying to move England along in the 1800s, where we are upgrading our tiles, our workers, and looking at different types of industry. A very interesting game, especially since there are not the all-important Wallace loans that happen in a lot of his games, but we really, really enjoyed this one. I think it might be one of our favorites so far of 2021. So that is all this week. Aslan and I say happy breakfast.
I gotta say, there's more games to talk about 30 years ago than there was last year.
That's a weird thing.
1991 was not a great year for
Is
games.
this exactly 30 years? Or 30-ish years?
Well, no, 92.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
So today we're talking about Arch Rivals. Now, this is a game that Z and I were just talking about last week. He was talking about how he introduced some people to it.
What a coincidence. Wendy and I were not talking about it last week.
Oh, good.
We were
That's
talking about
'cause
it 2 seconds ago.
I don't think either of them have ever seen the game. You can find this game, though, easily at thrift stores. I've seen it many times at thrift stores.
Are all the pieces there?
Yeah, usually. There's just a bunch of plastic. So what the game is, it's a big giant box, yay size, one of those old long boxes.
Oh, yeah.
And it comes with an arch that you build. So these arches are like little cups that you build in an arch, and you put them exactly on this thing. And then there's these plastic pieces that you then twist out like this. I know how to do the hand motion because it takes a lot of effort to do it.
You're
So
actually behind the picture, so you gotta lean back and twist, or
so
lean up
you
and
twist. You're turning one this way and the other this way, so that they all stick together, and without falling. So it's They'll all fall the first time you do it. And you're like, okay, set
Is
it
this
up
pick
again.
up sticks the arch game?
So once they're there, they're on this rocking thing. So the whole thing rocks with this arch. And then you have a bunch of weird translucent plastic pieces like that are squiggles and squares and circles. And you roll a die and it will tell you how many it tells you what color and how many pieces to put in that cup. So like the cups have different colors on them. So like yellow and you put 3 pieces in without making the whole thing fall.
To see if it holds enough weight?
Yes.
So what you're telling me is that Viking Seesaw is a complete copycat of this game.
100% Viking Seesaw.
And that Reiner Knizia is a hack.
Well, I
which
already
is
said
why
that.
you still haven't done his top 100 yet.
That's right. Oh my word. That may happen this week or next. Keep an eye out for it. I need to talk to Mike about when we're going to do that.
Reminders.
Reiner Knizia top 100 that we planned well over a month ago.
We've also been traveling for the entire month of February, basically.
You know.
But I can't believe
Blame it
I
on
forgot that
daylight
again.
savings time.
I'm blaming it on Mike.
Mike savings time.
You guys hang out too much. Anyhow, the game is fun. It really is. If you fill up all the cups, and it's possible, then you start rolling dice and taking things out without making it fall. Then you put them back in. It will fall eventually. There's luck in that rolling of the die. Like, oh, I have to put 3 in one that's already full. But it's pretty fun. And it's unlike any other dexterity game, usually. It's not like Viking Seesaw, really.
Okay, sure.
Viking Seesaw, you're putting 1 piece on. Viking Seesaw is the micro game version of this. I might put this in the Dice Tower library if I get a copy of it. If someone has a nice copy of it and wants to sell it to me, let me know. But this one's worth tracking down. So that's Arch Rival. I recommend it.
Very cool.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, we are Ryan and Bethany.
From Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
All right, today we are talking about the Imperial Settlers Roll and Write game. All right, we love Imperial Settlers. We like roll and writes. What can go wrong? Well, it turns out kind of a lot. For one thing, this did not feel one stitch like Imperial Settlers.
Not at all.
Which is a fantastic engine building game, right? Where you're building.
That's not true, actually. That die had that pink person on it.
You're right. There was some symbology that was the same.
Yeah.
But other than that, they're very disconnected. Instead of an engine building game, you had a resource gathering game. And you use resources to basically build some buildings, and those buildings gave you extra resources, and those resources you could use to build extra buildings, which sounds like an engine building game, but it really wasn't because of the die rolls and how they worked. You were basically just filling in a little chart and building these points along the way. With the advanced mode, it was a lot more fun. You were able to add in these kind of polyomino shapes that you were able to kind of fill in, which it did increase the fun level quite a bit for us.
Yeah, here's the thing. We liked it, especially when you added the harder version of the game. But for me personally, there's other roll and writes that I would play every time over this, so it wouldn't stay in my collection.
Yeah, it's just kind of a rinse and repeat of roll, get some actions, get some resources, check off little boxes.
Yeah, it wasn't like unique in any way.
Yeah, so this one was a pass for us. We still love Imperial Settlers, but this did not bring the theme home in a dice version for us.
Well, if you want to hear more from us, you can find us on Facebook or YouTube. We are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews. Until then, this is Ryan and Bethany, hoping you have a happy, healthy breakfast. Bye,
Bye,
guys.
everybody.
Assalamu alaikum. If you love chaos and programming at the same time, then you cannot go wrong with Colt Express, one of my favorite games. But if you have played its app, whether on computer or on your phone, then you will notice that the app actually had some backstories about individual characters, and there were some variations of the game in the app. But sadly, there were never those variations that made it to the board game version of the game. So if that's what you are missing, then check out the story mode season 1 for Colt Express that I have uploaded to the file section of Colt Express. Now, it does not copy the story exactly of the app. It takes inspiration of the backstories of the characters, because even in the app, there was no coherent story of which will correlate the story of all these bandits in one story. But this campaign gives you 11 missions through which you will play, and it will interlink the stories and how it relates to, well, the train and the mining company over there which the train is serving. It comes with even multiple endings for each of the character. that how well you performed in the game. At the end, you might get out of 2 either a good ending or a bad ending. So if that interests you and you want a little bit more backstory, more variations in each of the games that you play, then check out Colt Express Story Mode Season 1 in the file section of BGG. That's it for me. Happy gaming.
All right. Okay, so tomorrow, me and my kids are reviewing All Wilds Uno, the best of Unos.
Ooh.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see what they say about that. Shoots and Marbles is back tomorrow also. Actually, I should start with today. When this is over at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, or Eastern Daylight Time.
Eastern.
I get yelled when I say EST, and people are like, no, it's actually EDT. And I'm like, you know what I meant. Like, no one's going to go, oh, I got the wrong time because I... Anyhow.
I just say Eastern for that reason.
So, anyways, he's doing What's Happening at 10. At noon, I'm doing a Q&A. Hooray! Hopefully I remember the contest. Tomorrow, we're playing Pathways live. And on Friday, we're going to be shown the Jurassic Park Legacy game.
Hey-o.
Are you excited about that?
Obviously.
Just a little bit.
Is that one of your favorite movies?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What? You always say, like, oh, yeah, like, I'm supposed to know what your favorite movies are.
Do you not see me wearing the Velociraptor costume like every other day here?
No, I thought it was a real Velociraptor. All right.
I thought you were a real Velociraptor.
What else is happening this week? We're reviewing several little games, various small games. Actually, we're doing a kind of an offbeat game for our Foursquares review this week, and that's Rescuing Robin Hood. But it's one that I thought you should know about, so that's why we're doing it. Usually when we do an offbeat game, heads up, it's going to be more positive than not, because we wouldn't all go out of our way to trash a game that you've never heard of. Not today, anyway. I'm also doing we're doing the big top 10 list on Thursday. Will be our top 10 anticipated games of 2022, which was already done by these folk.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what they said, actually.
Good stuff.
Oh, fantastic. Nothing validates my hard work here.
Didn't I run that? No, Mike ran that one.
Yeah.
So Mike knows. Anyway, this will be me, Mike, and Z doing that, because Mike is back. And also, I'll be talking about the top 10 most played games at Dice Tower West. I'll be doing top 10 Red Raven games on my publisher thing. And I'm also doing my top 10 Arc Nova cards, because I just want to.
I guess so.
For my now new weekly Arc Nova series. That's not true.
It's not quite true.
I'll be going through all the cards in order.
The monkey, the zebra.
Arc Nova cards 51 through 60. Fantastic.
Yeah, no, just my 10 favorite for various reasons.
You know,
and even then I'll have to think a lot about it, huh?
Said you know someone would watch it.
Yeah, they probably would. Anyhow, so all that stuff's coming. Our live stuff is back. We got crowd surfing, board game breakfast is live right now, but also one on Thursday. So we're back to normal for a few weeks. Spring Spectacular is not too far away, so we're getting geared up for that. But it is nice to have some sense of normality here in the studio. Let's keep moving.
Happy breakfast, everyone. This week I'm going to talk to you about Neoville. Now, this is the latest release from Blue Orange Games, but more importantly, one designer that I actually pay attention to. I get excited when his games come out, and that's Phil Walker Harding. You might know him for games like Bar & Park, Silver and Gold, Sushi Go. That was the same designer as for Neoville. Now, this game is tile placement, much like a lot of his others. You're going to be doing a 4x4 grid, vibes of King Domino, but then you're placing things on them to score. It's very much a family weight game. You're not going to be coming into this and scratching your head, but there's some nice puzzles to it and lots of points to be won or lost. You're going to put these skyscrapers down on districts of, say, forest or stone or whatever, and if you manage to make the district big enough, it will score. If you don't, you'll lose that same number of points. So you can really screw yourself over, but it's not too difficult, and it looks quite cool when you've got this city and you can sort of peer around these sort of skyscrapers and some utilities. The utilities do add that little extra that I think the game needs. Maybe it's the pattern or where they are on your 4x4 grid that's scoring or losing you the points. And I think without that, there wouldn't be enough. But with them, there's just enough to get your teeth into, to enjoy playing, but it doesn't really take it out of that family weight experience. Or maybe for those brand new players that are joining the hobby, this could be a really fun one for you. Anyway, that is Neoville, and until next time, I'm Oliver East, signing out.
This is a segment where we take a look at a board game based on an IP, and I tell you if the IP and the mechanisms fit together. Today we're looking at the Golden Ticket. During the Golden Ticket game, you will rush to collect Wonka bars. At the end of the game, whoever has a golden ticket inside of their Wonka bars will be the winner. So that could be multiple players or just possibly one. On your turn, you can do 2 of 3 possible actions. One thing you can do is discard a card simply to move to an orthogonal position. When you move there, you activate the spot. Or you can play a card for the power listed on the card, and you can do that. If you do that, then the card goes, instead of the discard pile, sits in front of you. The reason for that is some of the cards will tell you to sweep cards of a certain type. And there's 1 of 3 icons that can be on the card. If you sweep that type, then you get the benefit from doing that. And a lot of the cards in your hand will also tell you to sweep. That's a big part of the game. The third possible thing you can do is draw up to your hand limit. Each character has a unique power, an allowance amount of coins they can have, and a hand limit. Then you can draw up to your hand limit. Those are the 3 possible actions. If you end your turn on the same space of Willy Wonka, you will also receive a chocolate bar. Then it will be the next person to go. You continue to play until there are no chocolate bars left in the supply. The Golden Ticket really brings home the first part of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory starring Gene Wilder. It really fits in that you're looking for these chocolate bars. And you want to get as many as possible, but it doesn't matter if you have the most, you still might not have the golden ticket. You got to be like Charlie, just be lucky enough to get that. And it really works here. The mechanisms are very easy, how you're just kind of moving around or playing cards, doing what they're saying. They don't complicate things as mass market game. And you really feel like, I got to get more bars, I got to get more bars, I got to get more bars, to increase your chances or probability of getting that golden ticket. And that really brings the first part of the game, the movie together. Kudos to the designers for not focusing on the factory part, which I think most games would go to, because it might be a little bit easier to design a game for that. This is brilliant. I really, really do adore and love this game. It's what I can easily recommend, and the IP and the mechanisms do, in fact, match.
Now, I have been pondering on expansions
This isn't Wendy
week.
ponders, it's Wendy thinks.
I have been thinking about expansions this
Nailed
week.
it.
Now, are they worth it? Are expansions worth the money? Do they do enough for the game? And I feel like a lot of expansions don't.
Fantasy Flight's going to kick the door and be like, that's how we make money!
Kicked out. I'm the boring Eurogamer. It's okay. It's okay. No, but over the years, I feel like I want an expansion to reinvigorate a game and make me want to play it a bunch more times. And so many times that I've purchased an expansion, it's been, maybe I get 2 or 3 more plays out of a game, and then I'm moving on to something else. Now, there are a few exceptions, and Destinies is one of them. Games that have more story, or they have more scenarios, or those kind of things, I think that's fabulous.
Like Chronicles of Crime, too.
Yeah, like those kind of games where they give you more of what you love story-wise. But games that just add more cards so the deck feels more watered down, or they add a couple modules that don't really change much and make the game more complicated, those don't speak to me.
I don't know, you got to be like really invested into a particular game sometimes to make some of those expansions worth it. I think when you're newer in the hobby, you just see that as an expansion for a game you like, and you're like, buying it.
Insta-buy.
Yeah, no matter what. Or you're
I wasn't you.
You're listening. Yeah, you're just glaring.
Oh, sorry. That was my...
That was your thinking eyes?
Thinking, sorry.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing is that, like, I think the key to what he said for me is that I always expect something to reinvigorate my love for a game, but I think games just kind of naturally will ebb and flow. Like, do I want to play this game a bunch? And then I might not want to for a few years, and then I'll say, oh, you know what game I'd really like to play again? And I try to artificially make that curve rise by buying an expansion, and it doesn't always work for me.
I think I've changed on this as the years have gone by. I used to get more excited about expansions, but I think Kickstarter is almost ruining expansions for me because like 4 show up with the game.
It's so much all at once.
Yeah.
Does that make you less interested in expansion when they show up at the same time?
I feel like it should just be, if it's good, it should be part of the base game. Like, so we recently played Viticulture with Camilla, and I started with the Essential Edition. I never played the old version. And I feel like those expansions, they picked the best ones, they made the Essential Edition, and it feels like a good, complete game. And I feel like that's awesome.
I wonder how many people have played it without the Grande Worker at this point.
That was a change, though, from the original version.
But that was in the Tuscany expansion.
No. It was a remake of the original game. When Tuscany came out, they redid the game and added the Grande Worker in.
Oh, is that what it was? But it wasn't in the. It wasn't
actually
in the original.
Changed me from thinking the game was okay to I liked it a lot.
I think it was a really cool aspect to it.
And that's one of the few expansions. There are some expansions that do take a game over the top. Tuscany is one for me. It takes Viticulture over the top. But I am feeling a sense of expansion weariness because when one comes in, I'm kind of like. Now, Roy, we should mention, Roy's
adamant.
Strongly opposed to what we're saying here right now. Roy thinks expansions are amazing.
Entirely.
He says we play too many games, are his words. Therefore, if you play one game all the time, then an expansion's fantastic.
I felt this way, though, before we started reviewing games all the time and playing tons of new stuff.
Yeah, there are some. I mean, I see the chat going wild with a couple of like really essential expansions. We've done that list on the channel a few times, and what those are for different people are different things, of course, right? But like. People talk about the Scythe expansions and being able to play with 7 players. Not my cup of tea.
One of my favorite expansions is Terraforming Mars' Prelude. Like, that's beautiful. It gets the game going a little bit quicker. You start with stuff and it points you in a direction.
I still think they should have put minus 15 minutes on that. They did not have the guts to do that.
Would have been great.
Yeah.
Feast for Odin is another one of my favorite expansions because it takes a board that's very open and wide and it tightens it just enough to make it better at 2 players, which we often play at. I think there's really good stuff out there, but if you're just gonna give me more of the same, I'm not interested.
Except for Marvel United.
Yes. According to Tom. Just Tom.
According to everyone in the studio, except for the people who paint them.
More to paint. No. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to our next contributors.
Hi, this is Ambi from Board Game Blitz, and today I'm going to talk about Red Rook, Blue Bishop, which is a speed chess-like puzzle game. The game is really small. It only has a 6x6 grid, a red rook piece, a blue bishop piece, and a white target piece. The rook and bishop pieces move like in chess. The rook can move horizontally and the bishop can move diagonally, but they have to move all the way to the end or until they hit another piece. They can't just move a couple of spaces. The goal of the game is to get either the red rook or the blue bishop to hit the white target piece. If the white target is inside the inner square, then the red rook needs to capture it, and if it's in the outer area, then the blue bishop needs to capture it. And you want to do this in as few moves as possible, but it has to be at least 3 moves, so you can't just like do it if it's right next to it. And everyone is going to be trying to figure out a solution to the same puzzle simultaneously. Whoever gets it fastest and correctly gets a point. I only played this game solo, so I didn't have much competition, but this would be fun competing against other people to see who would solve the puzzles the fastest. And each turn, the blue and red pieces stay where they were at the end of the puzzle, and then the white one gets randomly reset, so there's a new puzzle each time. If you like Ricochet Robots, which is an older game, so I'm not sure if you've heard of it, but basically it's another speed puzzle game like this that I played once like 8 years ago, and this game reminded me of it because I still remember that one play. But if you like Ricochet Robots, then this game is similar and it's worth trying out. Thanks for watching Board Game Blitz, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
Hi, I'm Jordan. This is Weeknight Games, where I talk about a game that's great to play on a weeknight. Now, this is a game that I played an old version of it from many, many years ago. A buddy of mine hasn't. We've played it to death, and this is a new version of it called Equinox. So originally was Colossal Arena, both from Reiner Knizia, of course. The original was more kind of Greek-Roman creatures fighting in a Colosseum. This one is more kind of fairy creature, for woodland creature type stuff, battling, I guess, in the forest. But it really holds up with this reprint, and so has a really great production and artwork and style to it. It is primarily a betting game, and so you have a row of cards for each round, and you're playing number cards on each of those, trying to knock each other out, whichever one has the lowest bid. at certain points is going to trigger the end of the round, and that card is going to be removed from the tournament. You're going to play until there's only 2 creatures left in the tournament. So it's a really interesting mash between the betting kind of game that you really mostly see in racing games, and then that back and forth card game that you really only see in like 2-player dueling games, but this one plays up to, I think, 4 or 5 players. And so it works really well going around the table, playing these cards, trying to knock each other out of it. And it just feels really unique in the way that those 2 things are combined. So I would definitely check out Equinox. Works with 2, probably better with more, just because there's more jockeying for position and stuff like that. But really cool. Has an amazing look, obviously, because it's from Plan B. But definitely check this one out. It is not... it's a Reiner Knizia game that has some soul to it. So definitely check that one out. I'm Jordan. Thanks.
And every cupboard has a door. So there's like...
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm on door.
You're on door?
I'm on door. You said wheel.
I might be wheeling it. I might be wheeling it.
All right. Well, that's only because you just built the desk chair.
I did. I'm not building another
so
one.
You put 5 wheels on it. So
10 wheels
is a
today.
chair. You have a chair.
No,
That's
my
Tom's chair. I built Tom's chair before I built my chair.
Well, I figured if I was buying Wendy a chair, I'd finally get around to buy myself one.
Yeah, you were using one of these
chair.
chairs. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. The Batman. So we had a chance to see The Batman last week. So before we get to the review, I want to point out that during the first hour and 20 minutes of this almost 3-hour movie, I was definitely falling in and out of a sleep. And I gotta say, because they were there.
I may or may not have nudged a couple times.
Okay, and so that's not because the movie was boring, but because we were in a very comfortable theater and we were jet lagged and tired. I believe I was the only person who fell asleep a little bit, though, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, well, fine. There's no way to know that for sure.
I was grateful.
Did I snore?
I pulled the entire world, Tom. There's more wheels.
A little bit of snoring. That's when I decided to wake you, when there was noise happening.
Sorry. Well, okay. Well, anyway, once I finally got some water and popcorn, because I was trying not to eat popcorn, because I'm trying to not eat popcorn. But popcorn's not that bad for you if you don't put butter on it. Anyhow, then I was awake. And I want to be really clear, that wasn't the movie's fault at all. Although, my number one complaint about the movie would be, I feel like it's 45 minutes longer than it needs to be. What do you guys think about that?
It's like almost 3 hours, you know?
I wanted an intermission. Like, I went into it knowing I was going to leave in the middle to use the bathroom. And whether it was in the middle or was towards the end, I knew I wasn't going to make 3 hours.
Oh, all 3 of us did. I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I picked a moment where I was like, okay, they're going to this place. I can predict probably what's going to happen. And then a bunch of fighting will happen. So I'm going to go now to the restroom before all the fighting breaks out, where there's going to be like a lot of, how do we get into the building? Let's go this way. Let's go that way. Like, yeah, they'll figure it out. He's Batman. He's smart. So that's when I chose my.
Did it work?
It worked. I came back and I was like, got it. They got, they're fighting the bad guy now. My intermezzo was perfect.
I want to know how you feel about the Batmobile.
I don't have any strong feelings other than that when the Batmobile started, I felt it in my chest. Like the sound in the theater, I was just like, oh!
I felt like it took too long to turn on, though. And I don't know if that was just...
Yeah, but that was the motif of this movie was that Quicksilver would have killed everyone. Because everyone kind of moved in slow motion a lot. Even the fights were slow punch, choreographed fights. I feel there was some fast-moving stuff in the final act. Mm-hmm. And there was some slow-moving stuff in the final act. At one point, I almost burst out laughing with how slow one particular scene was. But there was a lot of very deliberate Batman walking. The car chase was fast and slow at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are definitely moments where I was like, oh, did we just hop back in time to finish this car chase? Yeah.
Joshua says he's never gone to the restroom in the middle of a movie. That's crazy to me. I'll tell you why it's not crazy to me. It's because I sit there and think, do I want to be in pain for the next 2 hours, or do I want to enjoy the rest of the movie? Also, what if it's a comedy?
I made it through Endgame just fine, but for this one I couldn't.
That's true. Endgame,
I don't think I made it through Endgame. I think I left in the middle.
Okay. Well, anyhow, getting off that bathroom subject.
It's important.
I think so. This is a different Batman for sure. This is a Batman. It's very similar. If you read the comics at all, there's a lot of graphic novels that the comics does. The Killing Joke, the Court of Owls. This is very similar to those, where there's a mystery. Batman is trying to solve the mystery. He doesn't know who or what the villain is. I mean, that's been spoiled online who the villains are, but that's what this felt like. He's actually doing detective work, and fighting is in the movie, but it's definitely not a centerpiece or the main part of the movie at all.
It's almost felt like Batman the Escape Room, like the first chunk of the movie. I was like, oh, another clue.
Yeah, it comes with the territory of the villain who we will not spoil, even though the commercials have very blatantly said who it was. No, I mean, I feel like I was very happy to see the world's greatest detective on screen. If there's a criticism that can be levied against the Nolan Batman trilogy that I think is fair, it's that he wasn't that great a detective.
I get that too, right? Like, it was a cool detective movie, but Batman should have been a little bit better at it.
Sure. But are you saying about against this one, the Batman?
Yeah, even in this one, he missed a couple things that Batman wouldn't have missed.
I thought so, yeah. But I mean, I can sympathize when you're on a train of thought and you're still trying to deviate a little bit. Sometimes you miss this one over here, but no, I really liked him. I liked his relationship working with Commissioner Gordon. I thought
that was cool.
Great.
Yeah.
On that note, every actor, actress in this movie was on point. I didn't have a problem with anybody.
Yeah.
It's the best Catwoman that we've seen in a movie so far. Mm-hmm. The best Commissioner Gordon I think we've seen in a movie so far. I better not say it's the best Batman, but he's a good Batman.
No, he's good. And at this point, if anyone says, "Oh, it's Edward Glitterpants" or whatever, look, let that go. I know that Robert Pattinson played in the Twilight movies, but
no,
he's moved on.
I got over that in that last one we saw with the reverse time
Tenet.
Yeah.
He was so good in Tenet. I was like, all right.
After Tenet, after Lighthouse, after all of these, like it's funny, but he's really shown that he's a solid actor, and I enjoyed him. I had a little bit of trouble. I didn't have any trouble with him as an actor. I had trouble just with the constant shifts of Batman that we've been having recently. 1 or 2 movies with Ben Affleck and
sure.
We just keep bouncing around. Is he old, disgruntled Batman? Is he fairly fresh and newer Batman right now? In the a little more inexperienced and kind of getting his wings underneath him, getting his footing. Whatever.
In this one, he's a couple years in, right? He's been Batman for a little bit.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, thank you. I did not need to see them going to see Zorro for the 18th time and see pearls bouncing off the pavement again.
Oh, no.
So I was glad for that. I did like the action sequences. I thought the villains were very good. The main villain, really well acted. Penguin was very good, although I kept getting distracted because I knew it was Colin Farrell, and I would never have guessed that ever.
I didn't. I had no idea until after. And Chris was showing me pictures, and I was like, oh, wow.
Bullseye's back, baby! He didn't say that.
He was a little goof. Penguin was relegated to a side role, which I was a little disappointed with because he's such a big character in the comics. That might be the one. Other than that, I really did enjoy it. I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10, maybe. But I don't know how I'll watch it one more time, and then I think I'm done with it. Like, unlike a Marvel movie, I'll go back and watch those over and over again. And this one, I'll watch it, and every once in a while, I'll be like, slide the slider a little bit to get to the next scene. I just will do that.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm going to watch it again.
I think I will, but that's, for me, as great of a movie as this is, I can watch Batman Begins The Dark Knight over and over again. I really like those ones, yeah.
Anyway, that's The Batman, and Chris is hoping for what next?
The Batman Returns. Followed by The Batman For the Ever.
For the Ever.
For the Ever.
All right, let's move on.
All right, no time for any of that. We got to get right to it. See, I'm continuing my look at my top 10 things and stuff of 2021, and my number 4 is way out there. See, I'm a pretty big fan of space games. I'm a fan of space in general, and last year I got to play some of the biggest, baddest 4X space games out there. I'm talking Star Trek Ascendancy, Eclipse, Second Dawn for the Galaxy, and the granddaddy of them all, Twilight Imperium 4th Edition. Now these games have a lot in common. Each will have you amassing a fleet of ships which will move across a variable galaxy, laying claim to new systems and planets, which will provide you with resources to help you further expand your presence, research new technologies, and of course engage in some cinema-inspired shoot-'em-up pew-pews. Of course, each game adds its own wrinkle. For example, Ascendancy creates a wildly different arrangement of systems in each game, with space lanes of different lengths coming off of each system wherever players choose to place them. And while there's technically only 2 different ways to win in Ascendancy, I must admit, I was really surprised at the depth of this game. Eclipse, however, explores economy in the way the other games don't, because everything you do in this game, from discovering new technology, building ships, or claiming systems, costs money. And if at any point you can't pay the bills, you literally have to start liquidating your assets to keep yourself in the game. Lastly, TI4 smacks players with everyone's favorite topic. Hey Jack, it's politics! Once the center system of the galaxy is first conquered, each round gets an agenda phase tacked on, where players can leverage the population of their planets to cast votes on a staggering variety of political mandates. These could change the rules of the game, disrupt the space-time continuum, or just give a player some new shinies. Which is my favorite, you ask? Well, if the price is right, Bob. And on that note, I'm gonna get out of here. One to beam up. Cheers.
Hello everyone!
Hi!
My name is Dave Luza.
And my name is Bo Luza.
And today we are sharing our excitement for a game that I used to really like as a grown-up game, Chronicles of Crime. But I thought you would love to play Chronicles of Crime with me because it is an app-based game, but...
Yeah, I thought so too, but there was a lot of violence and blood and I don't like that.
True. So now our friends at Lucky Duck Games said, hey, Dave, you know what? We have a kids version of that game. It's called...
Kids Chronicles Quest for the Moonstones.
Yes, and it uses the same principles as Chronicles of Crime. It uses QR codes on cards and locations, and you need to go to locations to scan for objects. And how does the scanning work, Bo? Can we show off how that works?
Now I would scan for Merlin's Tower. We're in Merlin's Tower, and we can see Merlin.
Yes.
And you can see objects too. A plant. A red thing.
a bottle, yes. Yeah. So now we would look through the cards to see if we can find Merlin. And there is Merlin. He is in his tower. So now we can use the app to question Merlin in that location. The story is... There are 5 chapters in the game, include 6. There's also a prologue. And any recommendations?
It's really good for kids. I really like it.
Yeah. One game is around...
40 minutes?
40 minutes, something like that. And that was a perfect length, right? We once played 2 stories in a row.
That's a little bit too much, but one is very good.
One is very good. One is perfect. Yes. So that is a big, excited thumbs up from us for Kids Chronicles Quest for the Moonstones. Not by Lucky Duck Games, but by...
Lucky Duck Kids.
It is. Thanks for watching. My name is Dave Luza.
My name is Bo Luza.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, folks, that's it for this week. We got to get going because in 17 minutes, Z will be on with What's Happening. I'll be on in 2 hours and 17 minutes with a Q&A, and we got lots of videos to talk about, put together, and post this week for you all. So we hope you enjoy it. We got all kinds of cool games showing up. But until next time, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Wendy Yee.
I'm Chris Yee.
Happy Pie Day!
Thanks for watching Board Game Breakfast. Tune in each week for your daily dose of gaming goodness with Tom Vassell and all the gang. Until next time, I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast, a Dice Tower production.